do this.
Got it.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I was feeling like, should we really do this? I think I've said that a couple times on Tea Time before when we've had like an insurrection.
Right. We've been doing this long enough that there are crises that come up and you wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't want to seem like we're tone deaf, because I don't think that we are.
No.
But I also think that books bring us education and empathy and distraction, which I'm not sure we should be distracted right now. I think we should all be really kind of plugged in and paying attention. So I don't think that distraction is necessarily a good thing right now, but it might be something that some of us need. So
Yeah.
I equated us to the band on the Titanic, I guess, sometimes. So
Yeah. And there's something to the knowing we'll be here. I think that's a good thing.
Right. I think that there is something to do that. So I just didn't want people to think that we were being tone deaf, and it's like, oh, fun, let's do some book recommendation.
Right.
You know, I was just like, we are, so, but I still think there, there's, and actually there is a book, I think, Amanda, that I'm going to talk about. It's not about
Ukraine.
Is it the Argentinian one?
No, it's the A Constellation of Vital Phenomenon by Anthony Mara. So I think I will talk about that. Okay, how about that? I have that in my bookshelf sitting right next to me from 2013. So I'm sitting next to my 2013 bookshelf. Conveniently sitting next to. I mean, I always like, okay, because if I had to look at those bookshelves or the ones upstairs to find it, it would take me probably the whole hour that this is, or 45 minutes. So anyways, all right, I've chatted enough. Who knows how long we'll go today, but
exactly.
So Amanda B, take it away.
Is it me? Okay.
Yes, you.
Let me see.
Should I let you screen share?
Yes, let me just find of my I have like a million screens open right now. Okay. Is this the right one? Can you see this one?
We can see it.
Awesome. All right. So this book, sorry, I have to get my notes up because again, all my screens are just all over the place. All right. So On a Night of 1,000 Stars, this one I picked that this is kind of an interesting book to pick, especially what's going on right now. This is actually set during the 1970s in Argentina, in the midst of the dirty war there. So this book, it takes place, starts off in the 70s as well as in 98. It is a story of love and resilience about a young couple that's set, during the 70s, and then the daughter that's searching for the truth 20 years later in 1998. So in 98, we have Santiago, his wife Lila, and their daughter Paloma. Paloma is a college student, and as she's going through, her father is an Argentinian diplomat, and some woman starts saying comments to Paloma, and now she's really curious about her father's past. So she travels, so she's in Buenos Aires, and while she's there, she teams up with a local university student who is an active member of HIJOS, which is a group of children that are the children of the disappeared men and women of that time period. So as she goes through, she begins to uncover what happened during that time period and how it affects her and who she is, also while putting her life in a little bit of danger by uncovering all of these truths. So this book has been one that I have been really excited to present. I think, it's really nice for me to see history from Latin America that we don't necessarily see a lot of. So, for me, my family grew up in Guatemala. We know of the wars, that's, my background. So being able to see other countries in those similar situations really resonates with me. So that's why when I saw this one on the list, even selling it in, was definitely had a special place in my heart. So out tomorrow, finally,
Okay.
and I cannot wait for that to hit the shelves for everybody to take a look at. And the packaging on it, we're not supposed to judge books by their cover, but my God, they just nailed that package overall for that cover. So yeah, so there we go. That's what we have for tomorrow.
Excellent. Yeah, so it is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, the whole Argentinian disappeared thing is just, you want to talk about, I've read a couple books about that. So looking forward to reading this one too. That is, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, there you go. Okay, Tom Benton.
So if you go by what the books I'm going to talk about, they are not escape. So not going to escape. We're gonna go deep.
We're going to go right. You're going to go right in.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
But The Invisible Kingdom. So the subtitle is Reimagining Chronic Illness by Megan O'Rourke. This is in hardcover, on sale tomorrow. And Megan O'Rourke is a terrific writer, first of all. She is a poet. She's a former editor at The New Yorker, Slate. But the book is about chronic illness. It's about so it's both a memoir of her personal struggles with these illnesses and these symptoms that Western medicine can't help. Like, she keeps going from doctor to doctor, and so that's the personal side, but she's done a ton of research into these things and the history. And so it takes you back into like how we got the Western medicine that we have today, that requires, they're not symptoms that they can't explain with like hard and fast evidence. They just, then they assume that you're a hypochondriac, that
Right,
it's all in
right.
your head, all that stuff. So she's been working on this book for a long time because it's obviously so personal to her. And then the timing of the publication is perfect, sadly, because of long COVID.
Right.
So long
right.
COVID shares a lot of these symptoms. They don't know what is happening. Hopefully we will know at some point where these long COVID cases are coming from, but we don't know yet. So she's a brilliant writer. Riverhead, which is the publisher of this book, they do everything well. And one of the things is, they do like serious books about health. Like the year before was Breath, which kind of changed the way people thought about breathing, and it went on to be this massive bestseller. This feels like an important landmark book that we'll look back on this subject, because there just isn't that book yet. And I think it could be Megan O'Rourke's. She does a fantastic interview on Today's Fresh Air with Terry Gross that gets very deep into her own issues and how she thinks about what's happening to her body. So Invisible Kingdom, you're going to be hearing a little more about it on sale tomorrow.
Reminding me maybe of Emperor Maladies.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah, or even like, yes, Emperor of Maladies. She has a quote here from Jerome Grootman, who's done a lot of books. He's one of those doctors who writes beautifully. He writes for the New Yorker. So anybody that's interested in medicine, that sort of writing, this is up their alley for sure. Yeah, Emperor of Maladies is perfect.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Okay. All right, Amanda Q, what do you got for us?
Also going to share my screen here.
We're doing the technology today.
Let's see here.
You're sharing us.
Okay. I'm so pleased to see this was on the front of the San Diego Union Tribune's art section this Sunday. This is Liz Huerta, who is generally a badass and also a very, very someone I'm very proud to know. I met her at Mysterious Galaxy during a Clarion workshop event, and was immediately struck by her and found out she was writing a book at the time. This was years ago. So this book's been 10 years in the making for her. By day, she's a ironsmith, like a wrought iron artisan person, which is totally rad. But now she has published this book called The Lost Dreamer. And I have it here. It's a beautiful book. This is a young adult book. It's the first in a duology. And it is a Mesopotamian fantasy. And it's full of strong, awesome women and very cool magic that happens in dreams. And I really just loved it. I'm not usually a young adult reader, but was very excited to read this, and I cannot wait for the second book. So that's out tomorrow, and I hope to see it all over San Diego and beyond.
That's cool, Amanda, that she's San Diego and you got to meet her. Kim
Yeah.
DeVoe, I see that you came into the house here. Are you going to turn your camera on and join us? Because you're next if you are.
Right. No, there's no delay.
No rest
Jump
for the
right into there you
weary.
go. You're there and you're on.
Let me see what's going on. She still has her camera turned off and I don't see her audio. So we'll give her a second. Amanda, we'll go to you. And then when Kim pops on, she'll just jump right in. Okay, Amanda B. There you are. You're muted, Amanda.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yay! All right. I know, right? We're still getting ourselves on mute. So, all right. All right. So, can we see my next one, which is the rumor game?
Yep.
All right. So, this is actually a young adult. I actually only have one adult title today because we had some really great kids ones. So, here we have the rumor game. This one is super fun and exciting. Think Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl without the guilt. So this book has it all. So rumor has it, this is a must-read YA book of the year. So it's got a bunch of twists, drama, everything's out of control. We're at a posh private school, of course, because that's where these kinds of things have happened, things happen. So, again, definitely in the vein, they just relaunched Gossip Girl again. So all of that, all those guilty little pleasures that you kind of want to read, but you don't want to admit that you read them. I have them. I love them. My
Everybody
little
needs
posh
them.
private school girls and books that I read. Everybody reads them because you need them, right?
Yep.
So there we go. That's what we have. So we have the rumor game. 2 authors, and I'm going to butcher the names. I know because it's Danielle and Sona, our authors. Great cover. So again, this is just keeps you on the edge of your feet, or on the edge of your seat. And yeah, so there we go. The rumor game.
I love it. No,
Great-
everybody needs
great
those.
cover.
I'm gonna have to chat with Kim because we can't see her, so she might have to go back
I
out.
love my
one.
guilty pleasure. I have a series from a long
Oh,
time
we lost
ago
you a little
that's
bit.
like that, and I just read them all as they came out, and I enjoyed every single.
Yeah, no, Gil, there is nothing wrong with a good guilty pleasure read. That is for sure. I mean, we all need to have that mental cleansing to just read something that does nothing but purely entertain. I know that sometimes is hard for us though, Amanda Q. I don't know how you feel, but most of the time when I'm reading okay, who am I going to sell this to? How am I going to, what's the tagline that I'm going to use for this? What blurb am I going to write when I recommend it? And it's just oh, there's our friend Kim. Can you hear us, Kim?
Yeah, I can finally hear you. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No worries at all. So
Sure.
Here's my question. Are you ready to jump in or you want Tom to go next?
I can go whenever you want.
Why don't you jump right in then? And then we'll get back into kind of an order.
Okay. Sorry. I'm so
No
sorry.
worries. That's what I love about this being live and no,
Okay.
we're like the live news of the local news station.
I know there's been too much news. Okay. I'm done with the news.
Exactly. So that's the truth.
Okay. And I picked my first book given the news. My first book has already been done, but it's a debut and I'm giving it some more love. It's can you see?
Yes. Such a good one to do today.
Under Money by a former hedge fund manager, Jay Newman. So Under Money is an over-the-top financial and political thriller about the pursuit of money and power. With intricate plot lines and international intrigue, there's a lot going on. American soldiers who steal billions during the Iraq War, a $1 trillion hedge fund that actually manipulates world events in order to make huge profits, a private Russian military company controlled by Vladimir Putin, beautiful spies, and plenty of blackmail, money laundering, and action. As Julie wrote in her review on Edelweiss.
What?
Quote, if even a fraction of what is in this book is true, you should be afraid. You should be very afraid. I couldn't agree more. You won't be able to put this book down. And if you like Don Winslow, Jason Matthews, I Am Pilgrim, I think you'll love this book.
Yeah.
So
So glad you did that one, because I think I'm going to do that one for my weekly pick for Beth that she puts on Instagram, because
yeah,
it's so timely, and the
it's
whole
so
money.
timely. Oh my
And
God.
it's just, and the Russian underwear, it really is frightening though. I mean, it's a really it's a really good page turner. I mean, there's no question that it's just one of those that you're just sucked in, and it's just, you fly through the pages.
Yeah.
But the undercurrent of all of it, you're like, holy cow, if this, and you know that this guy comes from like the financial world. So you know that there's a good proportion of this that is absolutely true.
Right. More than you'd like to think is true.
Correct.
Way more, and it's really fun though. I mean, it's just like, you can't put it down, and the guy knows his stuff, and he did all this additional research. It's incredibly well researched. It's over the top. It's fun,
completely over the top, but underlying the over the top stuff, that some of the money stuff is
absolutely like, the whole thing could be true.
Right. It's
and you're wondering, okay.
Yikes. All right. Okay. Tom Benton.
Okay. So my next book, also on sale tomorrow, is Sarah Polley's Run Towards the Danger. So do you all know, does anyone here know who Sarah Polley is? Maybe no. Okay. It's interesting. She's an actress and director, and she's from Canada. She started off, she was a child actress. She was in the Anne of Green Gables TV series from the 80s, 90s. It's one of the famous versions of that people really connected to. So she was a child actress, and now she's been in a lot of different kind of indie films. And then now she's turned into a director. She directed a Netflix adaptation of Margaret Atwood's Alias Grace. And she's now doing the film version of Women. Do you remember the book Women Talking? That was Miriam Toews, however you say her name, Toews. Anyway, I'm striking out here.
So you're sorry, Tom, you're kind of straight.
Anyways, that film is coming. But my point with this Sarah Polley book is that she is, turns out, not only a really good actress that we should all be more aware of, she is a really good writer. And maybe because she's an actress in touch with her body and emotions, as well as now a director and writer, it shouldn't surprise me that she's telling the story. There's like 6 essays. It's not a memoir exactly, but there are 6 essays about different times in her life when she had trauma, a different kind of trauma. Most recently, she had a concussion, and the title comes from a very bad concussion. And her doctor told her this kind of counterintuitive advice to get through the concussion symptoms, which was run towards the danger. And so that's kind of what she's doing in each of these essays. She is running towards these moments in her life that caused her great pain, both in her childhood as a child actress, a sexual assault, the concussion, all of these things are in the book. And she's just an incredible thinker about memory. The subtitle is Confrontations with a Body of Memory. And so it's both about the body and about memory, both things at the same time. This is a quote from her. "These are the most dangerous stories of my life, the ones I have avoided, the ones I haven't told, the ones that have kept me awake on countless nights. As these stories found echoes in my adult life and then went another better way than they did in childhood, they became lighter and easier to carry." So it's an excellent book, kind of hard to describe because it isn't a memoir exactly.
Right.
But I guarantee you, she is gonna write more books. I mean, she's gonna direct more movies, she's gonna star in more movies, but she is definitely a writer. So this is on sale tomorrow, Run Towards the Danger. I'm sure she'll be all over the, NPR, I'm guessing. There's already been a great interview and review in the New York Times. So highly recommend. But you have to be ready to go to these places with her.
Well, but you said there's 6 essays in there?
Yeah.
There's 6 of them. the
Mhm.
thing with that is that it's like you're ready to go with her, but you only have to go for a short period of time.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
You know,
And I was able to do that, and that's what you're right, exactly. That's why I was able to do it. Like she the first essay is about playing Alice in Alice in Wonderland at the Stratford Festival, and she was a teenager. She was also dealing with scoliosis, and so, but she makes literary leaps to Lewis Carroll and Alice that are absolutely brilliant, while still bringing you back to her personal story. It's incredible. She's really a great writer.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're right.
So that's the thing. You could do them in little
Yeah.
you don't have to commit to like being in deep in for 350 pages.
That's
you know.
right. No, that's
Yeah.
a very good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And also Alice, it's actually a different publisher from PRH. One of my favorite books about the whole Alice in Wonderland was Alice I Have Been by Melanie Benjamin. It's a
Oh,
novel, but it's
right.
really good take on that relationship between Alice and
Right.
and Lewis Carroll.
Well, and when you have this actress who played the character, also going through, I mean, trauma and
right.
Reflecting on what Lewis Carroll put that girl through.
Right.
It's all there.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Anyways, so to you, Tom, Arlene, who's watching on Facebook, is the timing for The Invisible Kingdom for her is perfect.
Oh,
so she's
yay.
looking forward to looking at that.
That's good.
So yeah.
And that's I hope that the book finds those readers who need it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Amanda Q, what do you got for us?
Man, I don't know if I can run toward the danger. That it sounds that sounds like an intense book. I mean, I'm interested, but I'm also a scaredy cat. So I recently reconnected with a friend of mine, and they're a scientist, and they were also very insistent that they will not be getting vaccinated. And I had a pretty severe cognitive dissonance going on. And it's funny because I had also just started reading this book, Off the Edge, Flat Earthers, Conspiracy Culture, and Why People Will Believe Anything. So this is by a writer she's a journalist. She writes for the Daily Beast, and she interviews flat earthers, also anti-vaxxers, and QAnon followers, and it's a very humane and well-written, engaging look at people who they truly believe that the earth is flat. And it also gives a history of the flat earth movement. And we just generally learn about what it is about the natural impulse to have beliefs like this when faced with a complicated world out of our control. The write-up for the book also mentions, with the dawn of the 21st century, something has shifted, powered by Facebook and YouTube algorithms. The flat earth movement is growing. So it's just a fascinating look at all sorts of people from all walks of life who are totally into this and spend lots of money at conferences and on materials, and it's like amazing. And it's a really engaging read too. It's like very serious subject matter, but oddly quite fun to read. So that's Off the Edge by Kelly Wheel.
I think it's so interesting though. Go ahead, Tom.
It sounds like you ran towards the danger by reading that book.
Exactly. But
I mean, from the safety of my bedroom, maybe. Yeah.
But I also think that it's important to sometimes see what the other side is seeing in things that people who believe in things that are different from what we believe, to see why they're believing it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because I think that's really, and sometimes we all get into our bubble where we just want to, read and talk about and have like thoughts. But it's really,
Right, it's true, except I agree, but the flat earth is not a bubble that I'm in. I mean, the not believing in the flat earth, I feel like I'm not.
You're not
That's
exactly
not
in
a
a bubble.
bubble.
You're actually in the majority with all of us. That's a little, but
I
it's
would
a
hope
little
so.
scary that their bubble's growing. That's my
I
point.
know.
Is that their bubble is growing scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why
But
it's like,
it's
why is
important
that
to know that, and I didn't know that, so.
right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's relevant to all sorts of social media
Right.
powered
Disinformation
movements.
campaigning. Yeah.
People, I mean, beliefs are picking up steam that are quite disturbing these days.
Right.
So it's
No, and that's the thing. So that's my point, is that it's just, it is, whew, as a society, when we stop believing things like science, and I don't know, it's like, yeah, it's a little, well, to your point, Tom, with your first book, Eastern medicine, Western medicine,
Right,
you
right, I
know,
know, right, that, yeah, true.
yeah,
It does, the stuff like that does make you wonder about, because doctors would have you believe it's cut and dried,
right, but it's not. And
Yeah.
so, but yet, oh, okay,
All right, let's stop, Julie.
my
Can we move
head's
on?
gonna spin. It could implode right here on tea time, and that's it. We're all done. Kim, I'm gonna go to you next again. That will get us back into order. So your second choice, Kim, is
Okay,
and by the way, I wanted to let you know, Kim, before you go, that Beth on here, it's because of you that she picked up A Gentleman in Moscow. So even though it was already taken her so long to go to it, but she's so glad she did, and she loved it. So
I'm so glad.
And Kim, I'm not sure. I mean, Beth, I'm not sure what you're asking us to do. If you're asking us to recommend books that we haven't read in a while, or if you're asking people on Facebook too. So if you're still watching.
I think the request was there a book that you were hesitant, that was recommended to you, that you put off reading for whatever reason, that you finally came to and loved?
Oh, okay. So we can think about that. We can think that as a topic.
I've kind of been mulling it over. And
yeah, that's probably it.
I have one in mind, but I haven't read it yet, because people have been telling me for like a decade how much I'll love it. And I'm like, meh. You know what it is? It's the Night Circus, Julie.
Oh, and you know what? It's probably better if you don't read it, because you might not like it, and then I will have to not like you when you tell me how much you don't like it. Okay. So I'm thinking that's a better book that you just never read, because I don't want to hear, because if you don't like it, I don't want to hear about it.
I love The Starless Sea, but I just haven't
nothing
read.
like The Starless Sea.
So that's what I hear.
Yeah. So don't you. Okay, sorry, we digressed quite a bit there. So Kim, your second choice is
Okay. My second book is another debut that's already been done. It's can you see that?
Yep, The School for Good Mothers. Yep.
The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan. And it's a Read with Jenna Today Show pick. Okay, so I wasn't planning to read this book. But my fabulous fellow bookseller, Laura, came in one day and said it was the most compelling book she had read all year. Just incredibly thought-provoking and a great book for book clubs, and she couldn't stop thinking about it. And now I know why. It features an exhausted 39-year-old single mom whose husband left her for a much younger Pilates instructor. She's working full-time and caring for her 18-month-old, can't afford childcare help. One day she makes an epic mistake, and subsequently her daughter is taken by Child Protection Services. The only way she can ever get her daughter back is to spend a year at a state-run re-education camp for bad moms. The story unfolds like a cross between Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale and Kazuo Ishigura's Never Let Me Go, looking at surveillance technology, governmental overreach, and unnecessary family separation, as well as classism, racism, and immigration. It's dystopian, all too plausible, a mom's worst nightmare, and its closeness to reality is truly discomforting. And this was just remarkable. And she actually, the interviews with the author, she says that she got the idea for the book reading articles about real life stories, often involving, newly arrived Americans who are less savvy and more suspect.
Right.
And even the Child Protection Services, she says, admit that they sometimes overreact. And I know my dad told me a long time ago that when I was very young, he would take me to the store and he would put me in a stroller and he'd put me outside the door. And then he'd go do his shopping inside the store and then come out and collect me and bring me home. And I mean, we're living in a different world today, clearly.
Right.
So I just think this book is really interesting on so many levels.
Yeah, and you're right. Well, and it's what prompted Margaret Atwood to write *Handmaid's Tale* too. When you think about what the catalyst of that was too. So yeah, it's
right.
This is one that I have on my list that's close to the top. It hasn't quite bubbled to the top yet, but I might need to bubble that one to the top. Because it's so hard to go between like reading things that I need to read that are not published yet.
I know, I know, Julie. I know.
No.
Yeah, I don't know how you read as much as you do.
I spend a lot of hours not doing other things that I should be doing.
I totally hear you.
Okay, I know I said I was going to talk about Constellation of Vital Phenomenon, Anthony Darr. Yes, it's an old book. If you've ever come into Warwick's during those years that I was on the floor and doing stuff, you have already read this because I made everybody I put this into everybody's hands. So, but there might be people out there, it's been a while now, there might be people out there that haven't read it. This for years was when somebody would say, what is your favorite book? It was this book. It is tremendous. It is about the Chechnyan War. It's been a while since I've read it, so it's like I'm maybe lying to you a little bit, but if I'm remembering right, it's told in these different characters' perspectives of, doctor risks his life to save the life of a hunted child. It's got just the fear of what happens in a war-torn country, and it's got some not really magical realism, but it's got some folk tale kind of things that happen in it. It's a stunning piece of work, and I think what's happening in the Ukraine right now, it's the same part of the world, same part of the thing that's going on. I think if you're interested at all in seeing the human perspective of it, so it's an amazing piece of work.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really a good book. But if you want something that's uplifting, talking about one that maybe you haven't thought about reading, go read Cloud Cuckoo Land. For those of you who if you want something that you might be avoiding because it's so long and it's so whatever, there's nothing that will make you feel better when you close a book than that book. So anyways, those are my two. So now lightning round. Who's up? Amanda B's up. Sorry, I forgot what order we're in. Amanda B, you are up.
Oh, there we go. All right, I lost my PowerPoint screen over. All right, so I've got a picture book for you guys. When I'm with you by Pat Miller and Eliza Wheeler. I am super excited about this book because it brings together two really wonderful children's author and illustrator together. Pat is known for her book Be Kind, that I loved. It was just a spectacular book about bullying and how kids struggle with standing up, and if they witness bullying, how do they handle it? In this book, we talk about friendship. And then of course, Eliza Wheeler with gorgeous illustrations. So in this book, let's see, there we go. As you can see, the beautiful illustrations, it is just a book about friendship and, how life is better when you have somebody by your side. It does also talk about the ups and downs of friendship, that it's not going to always be perfect, but that's okay. You're still friends, whether you're next door or you're a world apart. You can do everything. You can like blue, I can like pink. That's okay too, that you can be different. And so I think it's just a really great story, just again, about friendship and just being with the people that you care about. They don't have to be family, they can just be your friends. So again, beautiful, beautiful picture book. When I Am With You by Pat Miller and Eliza Wheeler, two of my absolute favorites. So for them to be together, I was like, what? For them to be able to do a picture book together. So there you go. That's my final one.
I love it. Very good. And Beth, I saw that you saw in All's Well that I was acknowledged in the acknowledgement. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Makes me read acknowledgements now.
Which book was that?
All's Well by Mona Awad.
Mona, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because she came. Well, Tom, you were the one that turned me on. Well, no, wait a minute. I'm lying because you did not. It was her agent.
Her agent,
Her agent turned me on to her. But when I did meet her, I was like, Tom, we've got this great thing.
And then we lost her.
And then you lost her to Simon. But what, you might get her back. But Mona is amazing. And she's come to the store a lot. She's one of those people that when you meet her and her demeanor, and then she writes these just like out of this world bonkers books that are so good. But yeah, so anyway, so thanks for noticing, Beth. Yeah, that was kind of fun. To say the least, Beth, I do have that book saved somewhere special. All right, next up, Tom, you are up for your lightning round.
My lightning round. So there are two writers that I think of when I want to learn more about what's happening in Ukraine. One is Anne Applebaum, who's writes for The Atlantic, and she's got a lot of books, but she's an important thinker about authoritarianism and what's happening right now. But the other is our author, Masha Gessen. So I thought I would mention The Future is History. This is out in paperback. It's now maybe 3 years old or so. It's subtitled, The Future is History, How Totalitarianism Reclaimed Russia. Masha Gessen writes for The New Yorker. So, I mean, she's writing for The New Yorker right now. So if you want to read something, the latest thoughts and what's going on, you can go there. But this gives you a much more historical framework for Putin, who Putin is, how he's consolidated his power, and what he represents. She's a great writer, great thinker, and most of all, she understands Putin better than anyone else. Yeah, I can say that really confidently. And so if you want to go there and really understand what's happening, definitely Masha Gessen's The Future is History.
Wow. Part of me really wants to, and part of me wants to just like run as fast as I can in the other direction.
Right, yeah, I know.
But yeah,
run towards the danger, Julie.
We're gonna get so much play out of that title. That's gonna be your new Mike Nichols.
I knew Mike Nichols. Yeah, I'll have it like that.
That's gonna be your new Mike Nichols. We're all gonna be running towards the danger. Oh my God. Okay, Amanda Q, what's your lightning round?
Really quick, I watched an interview with Masha Gessen. The title was, it said, "The West is insane for thinking sanctions will deter Putin." That definitely got my attention. And they were a lot more smooth about it, about expressing that. That was sort of the plucked
soundbite.
Yeah, from the interview. But it was a really good interview. It was about 20 minutes long if anyone's interested.
I'll have to watch that. I mean, you never feel like, I love her and I love watching her and I love reading her, but she doesn't ever make you feel good, right? I mean, or did she? I mean, what did she make you feel?
They made me feel more. I mean, I felt a little more educated.
Yeah, that's it. You always feel like you understand things better.
Yeah, it's definitely bleak, but I'm very under aware of what's going on in that part of the world. So it was definitely, I'm glad I watched it, even though it was pretty depressing. Yeah. Okay, here's my lightning round. Out in paperback tomorrow. Kim actually mentioned Ishiguro earlier. Clara and the Sun. I was so blown away when I read this when it first came out last year. It reminded me a lot of Ray Bradbury. The story is, it's a near future, and our main character is an artificial friend who, when we first meet them, they are in a shop waiting and hoping to be chosen by a human child to become their friend. And like other, there was a good quote from NPR. Again and again, Ishiguro asks, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have a self? And how much of that self can and should we give to others? They were pointing out that Ishiguro's books pretty much all address those questions. I read it in a sitting, and I mean, I'm still thinking about it. And I said it last time I mentioned it. It would be a great book club book. Again, that's Clara and the Sun, out in paperback tomorrow.
I think I've said this before on here that I started a first book club with Ishiguro, the Unconsoled. We never met again. And so if anyone wants to read, I loved it. I still think about that book. That is an out there book. And
that's not one that people talk about as much with Ishiguro. It's true.
No, it's not, but it's probably I have not read all of his books, but of the ones that I've read, it's still probably my favorite of his. So
wow.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to look when you're talking, Kim, because I think it does take place in Eastern Europe now that I'm thinking about it. I have to look at that. Okay. Kim, what's your lightning round?
Okay. My lightning round pick is Reckless Girls by Paula Hawkins, who wrote The Wife Upstairs. And I pick this book because sometimes you just need an escape, a total entertainment, a popcorn thriller. This is like that. And while The Wife Upstairs was a reinvention of Jane Eyre, Reckless Girls is a modern twist on Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And I'm just gonna read off the blurb. 6 stunning 20-somethings are about to embark on a blissful, free-spirited journey, one filled with sun-drenched days and intoxicating nights. But when one person goes missing and another turns up dead, the remaining friends wonder what dark currents lie beneath this impenetrable paradise. And it has island gothic sensibility, sexy suspense, and it's just really fun. Shipwrecks, cannibalism, rumors of murder. It's ridiculous. And really fun, like twist after twist. What? You know, it's fun.
Yeah. And so Beth says sometimes she needs to run away from the danger, Tom. So she says
I
to
understand.
bring it on, Kim.
Right. Yeah, it's just, you know.
No.
So that's it.
All right, I'm going to share my screen for a minute because I do have a lightning round. Let's see if I've got this correct. No, I shared us again. Okay, never mind. There we are. Right there, yeah. Cleopatra Frankenstein. I highlighted this in the book of my pick of the week last week because it was just one of those that I think is kind of flying under the radar, but it was really good. It is for the readers of Modern Lovers, and Sally Rooney fans will devour this. Hermione, I can't think of her name now. Neon and Daylight. Toby, yeah. Those kind of writers. This is one of those just a quintessential New York story. People that meet on the street, they end up getting married, their lives together. It's just this, it's got humor, it's got just thought-provoking things that happen. So my lightning pick, Cleopatra Frankenstein. If you're in the mood if you like those kind of books, it's a good solid choice for that. And to our events this week, we have a ton. So look at our website. We're also doing a fundraiser for Read Across America. So you can look at that on our website. With the United Way, we're partnering with them. Deepak's got something on Saturday. Dolly Parton and James Patterson have something on Sunday. And in between, we've got the Mozart Code, if you're into historical fiction, art and traveling. Rosie Walsh, who wrote, was it Ghosted? She wrote Ghosted, right?
Yeah.
Ghosted. So she'll be here with on Thursday, and then Herbert J. Stern's Sins of the Fathers about Nazi Germany. So we got just about every topic you could possibly want.
That's right.
Between Deepak, we got all the way from Deepak to James Patterson, so and everything in between.
And you have Nazis also. So
And I got Nazis in. I get through some Nazis
For
in
those who
there.
want to run toward the danger.
Toward the danger. We're gonna keep running. So actually, you know what, you guys, I was a little nervous about doing today, but I actually had way more fun. And I think it was a good, as Beth said earlier, it was Beth, or I can't remember who said earlier. Yeah, Beth, it was a bomb today, even just doing this. It was a nice.
It was, yeah. I always find that I wonder if I should be getting together with people during times like this, but I'm
Right.
always happier after I do.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So happy reading, everybody. Stay watching the news. I think it's important that we do stay watching the news this time. I don't think it's one that we're like, sometimes with the political stuff with our own country, it's like, oh, turn it off. It's just like, but I think this one's an important one that we need to stay connected. But we'll keep bringing you some good book recommendations. So until next week, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.